Long-term monitoring of global temperature shows that since the 1980s, each decade has been warmer than the previous one as a result of global warming. 2023, for instance, was declared the warmest year so far on record, and experts say if care is not taken, year 2024 could also rank among the warmest years. At an alarming rate with its size, the lowest since 1979. The resultant effect is rising sea level and devastations in coastal communities. In year 2023, 78 named tropical storms hit nations across the globe. Increasing global temperatures have taken its toll on food security, while the shrinking of Lake Chad has caused reduction of surface water and lowering of water in hydroelectric power dams like Kanji, affecting power distribution and spread of diseases such as typhoid fever, malaria, and increased meningitis. In Nigeria, the consequences of climate change have claimed lives and livelihoods. Experts have warned that actions must be taken to ensure effect of global warming does not continue to claim lives, destroy ecosystems and economies. So in Panorama today, we shall be discussing these issues and the way forward. Be reminded that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on the screen for updates. I am Adeola Komiakere. Thanks for joining us on Panorama. We'll be right back. Every year, the World Economic Forum annual meeting brings together top decision makers from government, business, and civil society to address major global issues and priorities for the year ahead. Haman Jabani in this report takes a look at the issues that will take center stage at this year's meeting.
Meeting in Davos, Switzerland, starting from January 15 to January 19. More than 300 public figures, including 100 head of state and government, will focus on rebuilding trust and uncertainty and rapid change, achieving security and cooperation in a fractured world, creating growth and job for a new era, artificial intelligence as a driving force for the economy and society, and a long-term strategy for climate, nature, and energy. Ongoing geopolitical conflicts such as Ukraine war and Israel-Hamas tension will also be discussed. The annual meeting, which adopts a theme centered on returning the fundamental principles, emphasizes open and constructive dialogue among government, business, and civil society leaders, aims to navigate the intricacy of the current environmental landscape and provide insight through advancement in society, technology, science, and industry. The International Monetary Fund's Managing Director, Kristalina Joviva, said AI will affect 60% of jobs in the advanced economies. However, the IMF report published recently notes that only half of the jobs impacted by AI will be negatively affected. The rest will benefit from enhanced productivity gain due to AI. Over the years, several activists have been using the meeting in Davos to push rich countries and energy companies to finance the energy transition of developing nations, often protesting and calling for a wealth tax for billionaires and debt relief for developing countries.
5 top billionaires have doubled their wealth, and almost 5 billion people, that's 60% of the population, that's become poorer. So that's what is happening, and this is a decade of division. A decade of division where Oxfam predicts that within a decade we'll actually have a trillionaire. And this is happening when almost 800 million people have not been able to have real wages keep up with inflation.
Nigeria's Vice President Kashi Shettima will join other political and business leaders across the world to discuss global socio-economic and development issues. Apart from the plenary session, Shettima is expected to launch the Private Sector Action Plan for the African Continental Free Trade Area at a special session to be co-chaired by him. He is also billed to hold high-level discussion with Managing Director of IFC, Mukhtar Diop, among others. Also on the sideline of the annual meeting, Kashi Shettima will chair a roundtable dialogue on Nigeria's economic path and also attend special session dedicated in building trust in the global energy transition program. Hamad Jabani, NTA News.
Religious tolerance and continued prayers for the nation and her leaders must be the watchword of every religion in the country. This is the message at the 6th Nigeria World Maulid Anniversary organized by Jamiyatu Ansaruddin at Tijaniya. Larry Bilay has details.
This Quranic recitation set the tone for the 6th Nigeria World Maulid Anniversary hosted by Lagos State. The nation's number 2 citizen, Vice President Kashim Shettima, assured Nigerians of the present administration's keen commitment to socio-economic development of the nation.
We are here to extend a hand of friendship with Jamiyatu Ansaruddin at Tijaniya and commend your efforts in promoting peaceful coexistence among different religious communities. This is the lesson taught by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a message of love without boundaries, a message of interfaith dialogue, and a message of tolerance.
The President General of the Islamic Organization, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, who corroborated the Vice President's view, revealed that the conference's sole purpose is to pray for the nation and its leaders.
We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide you, our leaders, to give you direction so that you are able to implement the policies that as a nation will move us forward.
Earlier, Islamic scholars spoke on the theme prophetic solutions to the question of humanity. They admonished Nigerians to move closer to the Almighty Allah as He is the solution to all difficult situations.
When we say questions of humanity, we mean the question of governance. When we say questions of humanity, we mean the questions of brotherhood. When we talk about questions of humanity, we talk about the value system. We talk about also societal building.
The Quran was read 4,444 times during the conference, which had Islamic spiritual leaders and members across Nigeria to honor the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be unto him. In Lagos, Larry Bilayi, NTA News.
The operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC Lagos Command, have arrested former Minister of Commerce and Industry, Charles Chukwuemeka Ugu, for an alleged fraud to the tune of 3.6 billion naira. A statement by the Commission's head of media and publicity, Dele Oyewole, says Ugu was arrested alongside Chief Geoffrey Ekema on January 11 following a petition to the Commission from a New Generation Bank on the alleged fraud perpetrated through a company linked to the ex-minister. Investigations revealed that Ugu and Ekema allegedly obtained a loan facility from the bank for the purchase and production of polished rice. However, the suspect, according to the petitioner, failed to meet up his obligations to the bank, and all efforts to get him to repay the loan facility proved abortive. The suspect would be charged to court as soon as investigations are concluded. Meanwhile, the Code of Conduct Bureau has commenced an investigation into the alleged breach of the Code of Conduct for public officers by the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo. According to the head of Press and Public Relations of the Code of Conduct Bureau, Victoria Kato, the minister is invited to appear before the Bureau on Tuesday, the 16th of January 2024 at the CCB headquarters, Abuja. The Bureau's invitation is in line with its mandates and powers as enshrined in the third schedule, part 13E of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. It will be recalled that the minister has been in the news recently on alleged breach of Code of Conduct for public officers, particularly with the conflict of interest in the execution of contract awarded to a company belonging to the minister by the suspended Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, a company named New Planet Projects, allegedly belonging to the minister benefited from alleged contract scam from Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. We'll take a break now. Panorama will continue after this time out. Please stay. Many thanks for staying with us. Series of extreme weather events characterized the year 2023, with the United Nations declaring it as the warmest year on record. Accordingly, experts are calling on the nation's environmental stakeholders to intensify advocacy programs aimed at creating awareness on the need for strategic approach to mitigating the effects of global warming.
The World Meteorological Organization has confirmed 2023 as the warmest year on record with a huge margin. Global temperature for 2023 exceeded the pre-industrial era figures by 2.43 degrees Fahrenheit. Experts have linked the many extreme weather events and natural disaster in year 2023 to climate change, warning that this could spiral into 2024.
2024 may be hotter than the year 2023. One of the things that will help in reducing the temperature, especially for urban areas, are trees. And our trees are being cut down indiscriminately by some states and without recourse to any environmental assessment to know the impact of this.
Already, some states have started experiencing early rains and flash floods. Environmentalists consider this development as an early warning sign for all hands to be on deck. Lagos State, for instance, with its fast-growing population, is already bedeviled with the challenges of rising sea levels, coastal flooding, and erosion.
Definitely, it should be taken as a warning and all the necessary measures to ensure that the drainages are effective, that drainage areas, either natural ones or ones that have been developed by the Lagos State government, should be left cleared and not blocked.
Climatologists also say there's urgent need to check human actions that cause global warming, such as burning of fossil fuels, consumption of environment-unfriendly household items, pollution from transportation, and other factors. In Lagos, Larry Bilayi, NTA News.
And with me in the studio to throw more light on the issue of global warming is an environmental management expert, Eugene Etwa. Thank you for coming on the program.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, now with the year 2023 being the hottest on record and may likely continue into 2024, what would you say are the implications?
Well, once again, thank you very much. And your introduction had already given insight as to the kind of things that will happen. Yes, you're very correct, and indeed the forecast from the experts appears to be very correct in terms of where we are with regard to the warming. That last year was warmer than the previous years. Not just warmer. It has been said that consecutively, if the previous years were packed together with maybe a small margin of difference in terms of getting it warmed like we've known now. But that last year seemed to have there was a departure from that arrangement. And what have we seen? That departure appears to be quite significant. Beyond that this year, like you have just said, that is going to be more catastrophic, considering what we have. And where do we stand in all of this? Again, you recall in your introduction, you had talked about the kind of damage we are all facing. Recall that last year, Nigeria battled with the severest of all floods you want to talk about. Supply, logistics, if you remember, were disrupted. Vehicles taking fuel from the southern part of the country to the northern part of the country. There were challenges, and I think at the point, the chief harbinger of that fuel crisis in Abuja and indeed the other part of the northern part was because of that flood. Vehicles, trucks couldn't take fuel from the southern part to the northern part, especially that local oasis where the infrastructure were damaged. And so if we're going to have more difficulties with regard to the temperature, what it implies that infrastructure will suffer, as far as we know, more than ever before. And then you want to talk about the agriculture. One of the things that we've done, I supported Nigeria in the development of the long-term low emission development strategy. And interestingly, in our model, we've seen that agriculture is going to receive the heaviest shock and indeed impacts the GDPs. So if agriculture is impacted, food security, just name it, every other thing dependent on agriculture. Are you looking at other? We suffer. And so that chain reaction is always there. And earlier you talked about health issues. That will also result from all that we're seeing. A number of people have been displaced here and there. And so it's going to be more severe than ever before, if nothing is done.
All right, Mr. Eugene, there is the belief that human actions are largely responsible for the warming globally. Can you mention some specific human actions as it relates to Nigeria?
Yeah, I will start with deforestation, for instance. It is said that 90% of our original forest is gone. If that is so, then there are issues from us. What about oil exploration, extraction? It's also recall that oil is befingered as the major issue, the fossil fuel. And so, as one of the oil extracting country, they were part of the contributors from that sector.
As well as gas flaring.
Gas flaring, we burn, you know what is happening in that sector. Of course, that is one of the challenges. What about other agricultural practices or sustainable land use? Transportation, just name it. All of these are part of those things, the factors, the drivers of these very issues that we're talking about.
Okay, now, the health of our planet, it looks grim, and scientists say shifting away from the use of fossil fuels will help ensure the recommended 1.5 degrees Celsius target is met. How can nations keep to this target without, harsh socioeconomic consequences?
Well, interestingly, I think all the countries, a number of countries, not less than 200 countries met in Dubai, you recall, at COP28, and they've all agreed on that very pathway, the trajectory they must take. What it implies that collective responsibility must be there, collective action must be there. And of course, for us as a nation, you recall, it's been said that so many persons from Nigeria went there, at least about 14,000 or 1,400 and something persons. For me, that was a very good one. Why people talk about capital flight, I want to take it from the angle of awareness creation. Not so many policymakers before now knew what to do concerning climate change. Are they beginning to embed this as part of their processes of, yes, we have been able to create awareness along that line. In addition to that, recall that we also now have the Climate Change Act. That is to drive everyone to compliance. And so that is also there. We now have the National Council on Climate Change that will ensure that all of us abide by what has been said, whether you are in the public sector or you are in the private sector. And indeed, you and I also need to take some level of measures. For instance, we talk about energy consumption. Can we reduce our energy consumption? You talk about energy efficiency, fridges, energy efficient equipment. They are not just being said. If you on your own, just taking it to us as individuals, if you on your own decide to compare your traditional fridge with these energy efficient fridges, you will discover that you are spending so much, even from your own pocket. So it's a pattern on your pocket. That is there. So all of us need to take collective action. First and foremost, like I've said, from that global angle, yes, countries need to do what they need to do. From us as a nation, we have signed onto that same agreement. We need to also do what we need to do. Take note, Nigeria has what we call the nationally determined contribution, which set the target that we must meet concerning the Paris Agreement. And so collectively, we need to work together to ensure that we meet that.
Okay, now, Mr. Itua, finally, Africa's contribution to global emission is minimal, at least in comparison to developed nations, and some great polluters. Yet Africa is, was hit by climate change. How can the loss and damage funds officially launched in year 2023 at the UN climate change negotiations help?
Yeah, thank you. We are very correct that the African nation, which Nigeria is part of, emits less than 4%. That is what we have, the statistic that's been brandished here and there. And so, and the unfortunate thing is that we are at the receiving end of the challenges, the impacts, because we have the capacity to adapt. We have the least in the entire world. And so, the loss and damage has been designed to support the vulnerable communities or countries that are impacted. Okay. It's said that we will have over $100 billion to support that fund. But unfortunately, I don't know that, I don't think up till now, we have been able to mobilize that $100 billion. I think in Dubai, it was said that we had about $700 million. Okay. But however, just to say that the way it is designed, it will support all of us that are vulnerable to climate change, especially the African countries.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Eugene Itua, for enlightening us on climate change, and like what you said, we need to create awareness more on this topic because it affects everybody. Thank you for your thoughts on Panorama today.
Thank you very much.
Moving on now, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, and Group Chief Executive Officer, NNPC Limited, Mele Kyari, have inspected a vessel loaded with stolen condensates at Oporoza, Baramatu Kingdom in Warri South area of Delta State. The Chief of Defense Staff reiterates that crude oil theft is an act of criminality that must be stopped immediately. Lydia Sampson has the report.
Armed with the resolve to stop crude oil theft and increase production in line with the Renewed Hope 2024 budget, the NNPC Limited, in collaboration with Tantita Security Services Limited and security agencies, have sustained the onslaught on crude oil theft across the gamut and value chains. Looking through the helicopter window, perhaps calculating how the entire landmass of the Delta can be combed to win the fight, GCO Mele Kyari appears set for the task ahead. Finally, at Okoroza, Baramatu Kingdom, the boat ride may be indicative of the multifaceted challenges ahead. The Group Chief Executive Officer and his team inspected the vessel on which 23 suspects were apprehended with 200,000 liters of condensate intercepted offshore Bayelsa State. The collaboration with top armed forces leadership brought the Chief of Defense Staff to the side, and he did not mince words in reeling out military warning.
It's a high-powered delegation, all the way as directed by the Commander-in-Chief. We're here based on the report of the arrest of this ship that we're on, and I think it's a major achievement. It shows that we're committed in ensuring that we stop this criminality within the maritime environment.
He reiterates that fighting crude oil theft is one fight the federal government is determined to win. Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
And that's Panorama from Lagos. Thanks for spending time with us. I am Adeola Komiakere.